Abusuan yɛne nkɔmmɔ ɛwɔ channel yi so aha AGH Politics Avenue podcast or set friend me make headlines ne adwumbrɛ na ɛde bi ɛksomo ɛwɔ ha ne dim ne ahobraksɛ mu sɛ ɛnɛ ɛyɛ de kan a onuya mɛkyerɛ sɛ obɛtumi subscribe to the channel hit notification bell so share na adofo aka nso ensa ntumi nkabi onuya NPP for madi bɔne ɛwɔ ɔman yi mu ɛgya guo mu kyim ne nyinaa ne sɛ His Excellency John Romani Mahama with in collaboration with Attorney General and Tiasie Aye Juma, CCA private legal institutions. Omo build a Docket no ebi ama womu ama meno kasei. Omo etimi a Fastrack a cases no next yetimi enu omo edi asemono in 10 so. Na enkoye te se ye twetwe ye na ase ewo oma omo edi bone yesusu se omo edi bone no ho. Onua Yembo enwura aye His Excellency John Dramani Mahama asoye abra oje mre e wosansem yi ho.
And just the last two about the Attorney General being overwhelmed and that he must be overwhelmed. Recently we've been discussing outsourcing some of the Docket building. I remember when I came into the presidency in this second incarnation, I said the whole of Ghana was a crime scene. There are some cases that we're even now finding out. I mean, there are some audits that are coming that are showing new things that we didn't even know about. In all the work that the oral committee did, it flagged 32 cases. And out of those 32 cases, the processes have gone on. The minister has the statistics. Investigations are advanced. Some are in court. Others are being prepared. The dockets are being prepared to be taken to court. But even outside the 32 cases, there are new cases that crop up that we didn't know about or even didn't envisage. And so the way to go is with the constraints of the investigative bodies and the Attorney General's department. We are exploring the possibility of finding some private legal firms to help in docket building and building the cases so that we can send them to court. But once it gets to the court, we don't have control over the courts. The law must take its course, and as I said, justice is in the bosom of the judge, and they will determine eventually whether a person is guilty or not. I cannot comment on the extradition of our former finance minister because it's in a different jurisdiction and I have no control of it. All I know is that Ghana has put in an extradition request, and so we just have to be patient for the laws to play out in that jurisdiction, and whatever the eventual decision is, we cannot change it because it's not within our jurisdiction, and so we just have to be patient and see what happens. But I know there are two parallel issues. One is the extradition request by Ghana, and the other one is the immigration issue. The arrest was made by ICE for violating immigration status, but then also there's the additional issue of the extradition. But like I said, it's all in the hands of the American judiciary, and it's not within our effort to influence that. And so let's just leave it and see what comes out of it. But let me thank you very much. That was the last question. Let me thank you very much for coming. Like I said, this will not be the last. It will be something that we do annually. But aside from that, if issues come up for which we need to confer with civil society, we'll be very happy to invite you. Maybe not all together, but those of you to say. You see, if we were in an unconstitutional government and I had unlimited powers, all the people against whom allegations have been made, I'd have arrested them, put them in a sawam, and asked them to prove that they are innocent. But when you have the rule of law, they are innocent until proven guilty. And so when they go to court and they are granted bail, and you see them sitting in a restaurant eating, why is this person sitting here? This person must be in jail. But until the court proves them guilty, I cannot stop them from going to a restaurant. I cannot stop them from having a party because they are on bail. But the processes, and that's why Professor Mills says, the wheel of justice grinds slowly, but they grind fine. And so we must, if we are true Democrats and we believe in our Constitution, we must have the patience to go through the process. Investigations take time. And I tell people, better to investigate properly and take a well-prepared case to court than to be moved by the pressures of the public and saying, we want to hurry and build a docket that you go and the judge throws out. And so the Minister of Justice is under pressure. But he must build the cases thoroughly so that when he goes to court, he can get a conviction. And so we all must have patience for the process. And so when we say oral, of course, we didn't deceive ourselves that as soon as we come, we'll arrest everybody and put them in prison. We knew that it would go through the process. But you have to investigate every single case. For instance, after we came, All Africa Games, Auditor General started an investigation into All Africa, an audit into All Africa Games. We have only recently got the audit report. And so now you can take the audit report and prepare either surcharges for wrongful use of money, or if you think there are criminal cases, you extract from there. You have to investigate, interrogate the people, build a docket before you go to the judge. And when you go to the judge, the person must have their day in court. They must have a legal representation. And you know, so many of you are lawyers. You know how it is. On every single point of the law, you will ask for the process to stop. And you appeal to the appeal court. And then the process mustn't go on. Then you appeal to the Supreme Court even when you lose. And then when the Supreme Court throws it out, you come back, you find another point of law, you appeal it up again and stop the process. I mean, you all know the tricks, those of you who are lawyers. And so it's something that as a nation, we need to make a decision. Either we throw away the 1992 Constitution and arrest everybody who has stolen our money and ask them to prove themselves innocent. If you are innocent, then we leave you. But as long as we agree that we will use a rule-based system and under the law, we must be patient to let the law take its course. The Minister of Justice is under extreme pressure. He's got at least 7, 8, 9 cases in the courts. And those are those he's prosecuting. And at the same time, he must keep an eye on the investigative process to keep building the dockets and bringing them. It takes time. And so I just appeal to the public that maybe even you might prosecute and the person is let off by the courts. The court will not find that they did anything wrong. And that they say the law lies in the bosom of the judge. And so would do what we can to make sure that people are held accountable. But like I'm saying, it's not about those who should be held accountable for past crimes. It's also about those who breach the law now. And so if we see significant breaches of the law, we must take action and we must prevent those things from happening. Happily, the Chief Justice has opened new courts for the Auditor General's report. And so we're supposed to take the Auditor General's report and extract, from it, those who should be surcharged will be surcharged, those who should be tried for criminal enterprise will be charged. And so now that those courts are operational, the current audit reports we are looking through to see if there are any criminality in there. And then also the next audit report that will come would also be the same. The 2025 audit reports will be the report of these guys sitting here, you people sitting here. And so you better check your ministries and make sure that everything is being done right, because the next Auditor General's report by now 2025 is being worked on. So you are going to be the next who are on the line, and you must make sure that you take cognizance of what is happening in your ministries with regards to expenditures and procurement and all that kind of thing. Security recruitment, the mark was set at 65, and of course the aptitude test 65%, and so it must have disqualified many people. And so what I said was that we must maintain the database of those who applied. It was not 500,000 as the media is saying. It was about 280,000. What happened was people put multiple applications for different services. So somebody applies for immigration, he applies for police, he applies for fire, he applies for prisons. So one person applied for 4. That accounted for the 500 and something. So when you say 500 and something people applied and didn't get, it wasn't 500 and something, it was 200 and something. Yeah? Now the thing was set at 65%, and so it disqualified some people. But I've said that we're employing 10,000, for this year, for 2025. Actually, this was supposed to be 2025 recruitment. So what I've said is we should maintain the database for those who applied. If you took your 65% and you took some of them, there are the others there too who qualify. But just because they didn't get 65% doesn't mean that they don't qualify. And so let's use it as a rolling database for 40,000. We'll take 10,000 per year for 4 years. So 40,000 people can have the opportunity. And we probably will lower their qualification. But one of the points I make is, you see, the security services are interesting. It is not aptitude alone that is important. You need courage. You need other attributes other than just their mental acuity. If you send your recruits to, for want of a better place, let me say Boko, or let me not use only Boko, Nkwanta, or Sampa, or anywhere there are flashpoints and there's action, and there's an attack. Sometimes the 65% aptitude people will be the first to run. The 40% aptitude, because he's brave and courageous, might be the one who will stand and repel the attack. So aptitude doesn't carry that. It's not only aptitude. Because of digitalization now, we want the digital this thing, we want it to be transparent and things. But when the security says, when you come under fire, sometimes it's the 65% and above who will run first. So I'm saying let's find a way of combining not only the aptitude, but the other features, and so we must be able to see as many of them, see what their fiscal build is. You can tell, sometimes from psychological testing, what the person will do under fire and all that kind of thing. So it's a lesson for all of us. And like I said, we'll continue to take from that database so that we are able to absorb as many of them as possible. But I also think that in future, we should look at the fees they pay. You understand? To pay an unemployed, they say pay 200 cedis, and then you get in your mobile phone disqualified. I mean, it's a very painful thing. So let's look at the fees they pay. Let me start with the District Assembly's Common Fund. This government has been very prompt in releasing the Common Fund. If you ask the members of Parliament here, they will attest. What we've done is we release the Common Fund before the end of the next quarter. And so the first quarter's Assembly Fund, District Assembly's Common Fund will be released by the end of the quarter. And so currently the common fund for 2025 has been released. It's been paid for completely. What is in arrears is the first quarter, but it will be paid by the end of March, which is the end of the second quarter, because then you would have calculated how much is due to the Assembly's Common Fund. And as you are aware, 80% is a standing policy that 80% must go to the district assemblies. In the past, as little as 42% was going to the assemblies. The rest was kept in Accra, and it was being spent from the center. And so you are in the district and they call you to come and take dustbins that have been purchased for you. Meanwhile, dustbins are not your priority. You'll be called to come and pick up tricycles and brooms, which are not your priority. Or you could even procure those things locally. So we're saying send the money to the districts, let them decide how they want to use the money themselves. We've given them guidelines. We say we're sending you 80%, at least build 2 schools at the basic level to remove schools under trees, build 2 CHIPS compounds to provide more health care for your people, and build one 24-hour market. But the 24-hour market is just one for the 4 years. And so it's not like every year they're building a 24-hour market. And so I think that if you actually go to the districts, you find that there's more development coming. Indeed, some of the districts have the money sitting in their accounts. They're finding it difficult to disburse the money because the procurement processes are now kicking in to begin disbursements. So that's with the district assemblies for Common Fund. Non-communicable diseases are accounting for nearly 45% of morbidity in our country. It means that the not yet the majority, but it is the largest component of morbidity in our country, higher than malaria, HIV/AIDS, and all other, morbidity factors. That is what made us introduce the Ghana Medical Trust Fund. But more than curative diagnosis and cure, like she said, we must look at preventive. And so part of the remit of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund is both helping with diagnosis, but also helping with cure, because the treatment of these non-communicable diseases are very expensive. And then added to that remit, the Ghana Medical Trust Fund would have an IEC component, that is information, education and communication component, that alerts Ghanaians to the triggers that cause these non-communicable diseases. And so we need to inform and educate our people about non-communicable diseases. But I think that the actual preventive is going to come with the free primary health care, because the pre-primary health care has a very strong preventive component. We have 6,000 electoral areas in Ghana. In every electoral area, we're going to have volunteers who receive a stipend for going around household to household. And
we ain't some who do it channel so. Mami, and I was so Jim Red. I said, so bad in their Dumbi Edomania. Onia, Ebesan Asia.